Hi, Dick. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you doing?
Very well.
Have you rested up from your vacation?
You know what? I have. I feel so refreshed. I really do. It's a wonderful thing. So there is someone on the line with a number ending in 4001. Would you let me know who that is, please, by stating your name?
Hi, Barb, it's Pat.
Oh, hi, Pat. Sorry, I didn't
How are ya?
recognize your number.
No worries, I'm here.
Okay, and I see that Linda Terry is here and Barbara Terrio is here, Emily Benson is here, and then Will Reisig and Hank Benesh are here recording. So that is who we have so far.
And John Allen should be showing up in a minute.
He should be. And how are you doing? Are you getting out to enjoy some nice weather?
I was outside today. It was very nice.
I know, nice.
Well, the sun makes all, it's still quite a breeze and
Mhm.
it's not as warm as you might think with the sun shining, but what a beautiful day.
Mhm. I had to drive down by Memorial and just love looking back at the mountain, the snow on top still. That is
Good place for that snow, right up there.
Yes, absolutely. My tulips agree.
Well, I've got 3:30 on my chronometer.
Yep.
Well, I think I'll open our meeting. This is the Selectmen's meeting for April 27th, 2021 via Zoom.
Mhm.
And the first thing on the agenda is the minutes of the last meeting.
I don't think we had any changes, so I will make a motion to approve the minutes of the meeting from April 6th, 2021.
The only change in it, we don't even have to change it, but
Mhm.
we did not have to vote for the change in wording on the well radius for from the planning board. That's all taken care of by the planning board, so we voted on it. I
Okay,
think I felt just to make sure that it could go through, but it was housekeeping work for the planning board and we voted on it, but we didn't destroy anything by doing that. So anyway, I will second the motion that we accept the minutes as written. Barbara, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Bennett, yes. John, are you there yet? No. Well.
Not there yet.
Okay, and now we're going to go to a discussion of Jackson Falls parking.
And Barbara Terrio is on the line here.
Barbara?
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
It is a beautiful day, but it really is windy. Does it get this
Yes.
windy in Hawaii?
You know, it's called a wonderful tropic breeze.
It's constant.
That's
It was
good marketing.
wonderful. Yes.
What was pretty exciting was last week, a few of us got together at Jackson Falls, and I just want to bring you up to date with that. Brian from DOT was there along with one of his guys. The chief was there. Ruth Ann Brown and Joyce Allen, both on the Jackson Falls committee, were there as well. And Pat Kelly was with us as well. I have to tell you, and I can't wait for real meetings to start happening again, because we all felt that it was the best meeting since last year, when we first had the problem at Jackson Falls. Just to be able to talk and everyone heard what everyone had to say, and it wasn't any, there were no secondhand, you know, he said, she said, that kind of thing. I would like to just tell you, just to give you an idea of what was discussed, and Ruth Ann took some notes, and I think this is probably going to, in a nutshell, tell you exactly what happened. We first of all were discussing the setback, and the state has jurisdiction over Cotter Notch Road out to 25 feet from the center line on both sides of the road. State DOT, Ryan, marked a line, and they marked the whole 25 from the upper falls all the way down through the fencing. And believe it or not, and also conservation had told us this as well, that fence is the 25-foot mark. In other words, all of the parking up at Jackson Falls is on DOT property. So, but they don't like dealing with parking, so that's why that Lower Falls area has been designated for public parking, which we are sort of all in agreement that should stay the same. I think it's going to be a long time before we ever discuss actually putting down pavement, so that at this point in time it will stay as face-in parking. What was interesting though is that we'll be able to also keep the 2 parking spaces for disabled parking, but the Upper Falls is within an accepted area as far as what Brian told us. We could get 3 to 4 parking spaces on a drive-in up at closer to the corner, up near the where the porta potty is. And we would love to be able to designate that as resident parking only. And when we talked about resident parking, we're really saying resident parking, not just because you own land, not you have to be on the voting list, and you have to be an actual resident. So one of the things that I think that we're really going to have to consider is something sort of like the similar to I still call it the dump, I'm sorry, the transfer station stickers. I can't get that in my mind. That would be visible and also affixed to the vehicle, so that it wouldn't be like, I'm sure you know there are a lot of people with disabled tags that give them to their friends whenever they know that they're going to have trouble parking someplace, but it would be something that would be affixed to the vehicle. I don't think that that's going to be any kind of a big expense. But the most important thing, Brian said that, so we are looking for all along the road, we do have no parking between this sign and that sign, which because of where they are, it's very difficult for people to see where they, you know, between what and what. So we're looking for more signage that would absolutely say no parking, just absolutely no parking, not bright orange, not anything, something that would be affixed and ready to put in. As far, Brian felt that there would be no problem with the DOT. We do have an email into his supervisors, however, just to make sure that that's for sure going to be okay. And if it is, the interesting thing is that if we feel we need more of, and the state will allow that signage, it's the selectman's responsibility to approve the new signage and provide it. So it's going to be up to the selectmen on the suggestion of both the DOT and the Conservation Committee and our Jackson Falls Committee. I don't see a big deal, but the thing is that Pat needs to know as soon as possible. So as soon as I get that, I'll be contacting you, the selectmen, so that you would have the opportunity to be able to discuss that among yourselves. If last week was the Massachusetts April vacation, if you drove by the falls last week, they're already doing it. And so it's going to be, it's something that a signage is going to have to work. One of the suggestions that the chief had was, and he has been saying this all along, is timed parking, but we have no idea how we would be able to do that. But one of the things that the chief did suggest is every 2 hours, one of the officers would go up and take a picture of the cars that are parked there. And if the signage, which now has like 2 little signs that say parking, pull in parking, if those signs said, pull in parking, 2 hour parking. The signage would be right there, so there would be no problem if 2 hours later, when they made their rounds, and this is something that the chief feels they can do, they would have every right in the world to ask those people to move. The biggest thing we have right now is to now get out, and I've talked with Kathleen from the chamber. She's already pulled way back from any kind of advertising that they do in any of the brochures that go out about Jackson, where there was such a high point on it before, as far as suggesting to go to Jackson Falls. So we're trying to reach out to people to change the wording on what Jackson Falls is listed as, to make it perfectly clear online that it is a wild and scenic designated area to be enjoyed by people and respected by people, but not to be treated as a public park. Just come and spend the day. I'm trying to do it in as polite a way so that it doesn't, turn people off, and they still have the opportunity to come and enjoy Jackson Falls, but to not take advantage of the falls the way it happened last year. The last thing I do want to have a meeting with, I'm meeting with Ellie Copel at the hotel, because this is really going to affect her property, and with the lack of parking. Everyone knows on Valley Crossroad you cannot park, and we're just waiting to hear from DOT through Pat when that reconstruction on the bridge is going to happen, because that's going to deter a lot of traffic, and they won't be able to get to the falls from that side. So, and once they get up to the falls and there's no parking, they're just going to have a long ride ahead of them before they can turn around and then head back down. So these are some of the preliminary things that we're really looking at, but I think we've made a real big step forward in what we had discussed last year, and when we were all up in arms about everything that was happening. And I think with the proper signage, the proper wordage, and the limitations that we would possibly be able to put in place, that will somehow at least take a step forward in the protection of the falls.
Barbara, did you ask at all or talk at all about the host system there to help?
We have, that's something, Barbara, that's going to be down the road. That's
Okay.
Because that's really, it's going to involve, I think, like a whole off season of looking into a volunteer program,
Right.
and that sort of thing.
Right.
I thought about one of the things I'm pretty involved because of Jen's friends with the Key Club at the high school. And the one thing we always have to be careful, especially with COVID still, there are certain things that the high school does not want the kids doing. And and also I think that it's going to need a little bit of adult supervision as well, because some people just don't have respect for younger people,
Right.
and would probably walk all over them.
And I
But
guess
yes,
yeah. And I guess my second question is on the signage. Have you considered the signage on the like an information sign once you get into the park area, I'll call it?
The conservation committee is in charge of that signage, and they are working on signage as far as the history and everything about it.
Okay, thank you. Those were my 2 questions.
Okay, thank you, Barbara.
All right, I talked to Pat. He's fine with the no parking area that he can sign. I don't know, do we need to hold off on that? I'm ready to vote on it right now and say,
I don't think we need to hold off on it, only because Brian seemed quite sure. DOT doesn't want to be in charge of parking,
Yeah. Right.
basically. And they're fully aware of what's going on at the fall. So if you feel that a vote is needed, I think that would be great, and we could start on it right away.
I'm ready to vote.
That's excellent, because I would make a motion that we have our road agent, Pat Kelly, go ahead and get and install the signage for the no parking area up there to make it very clear that people cannot park there.
I will second that motion.
Barbara, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Bennett, yes. Okay, I'll try to remember to get. in
Dick,
touch.
I have a
Pat, are
question
you
if I
there?
can.
Yep, Pat is
I'm
on.
here.
Oh, what a wonderful thing.
And I got a question. So this is going to be from the fire lane up to the little corner spot where we allow people to park now, where the future possible for resident only parking will be. That's going to be closed off, and there'll be a couple of spots, 3 or 4 spots up by Valley Crossroad, correct? The handicap will be a couple of spots, but where previously we have allowed all of the side parking is going to be no parking. That's the area that we're talking about, correct?
Yes.
That's my understanding.
Okay, perfect. We'll do it.
Were we going to do anything about changing the signage for the 2-hour parking limit yet, or are we going to wait on that?
That's up to you guys. I mean, that would be for the head-in parking, the bigger parking lot,
Right.
you know, towards the bottom of the falls, the dirt parking lot. I guess
Mhm.
if you guys want to put a minimum on, then when you put a minimum on, I would say we kind of, I mean, I think maybe we could put I mean, I hate signs, but signs the only way you can really let people know what's going on. And if you kind of designate a sign for a spot and line that up just so you could have head-in parking here, 2-hour minimum, you know, those could be a little nicer, fancier signs. The no parking signs really kind of have to be
2-hour maximum.
Yeah.
2-hour maximum, or whatever you guys want to decide.
Yeah.
The no parking, they kind of got to be ugly because they kind of have to stick out, because you kind of have to get
Mhm.
hit over the head with it to know that you're not supposed to park there. So
And just an FYI, John, I see that you just hopped on the call.
Yes, I did. I'm sorry.
Hello. That's okay. We're discussing Jackson Falls parking and signage right now, just to keep you up to date.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Well, I'm ready to vote on timed parking. And then I think we still need to coordinate with Chief Purley about, you know, just what it's going to take and how we're going to enforce it. I think the idea of a camera shot will hold up for anybody that wants to contest it. I read his answer to chalking tires, the old way of doing it. And I guess that is not allowed anymore.
Yeah.
But if he feels that taking a shot with a camera of the parked cars and going back 2 hours later, and if the same cars are there or a car is there, he can get on the bullhorn and say, hey, this is your chance, move your car, and then we'll go on from there. But I'd be ready to, you know, vote for timed parking. I think that would be helpful in crowd control.
I'm in agreement on that too.
Right.
And, you know, I think this is going to be an interesting time to see what does work, Barbara, and hopefully this will deter people from camping out there all day. So I'll make a motion to change the signage to be head-in parking only, 2-hour maximum, and give Pat the authority to order that signage.
I'll
I
second
will
that.
second.
John, you second that motion.
I will second it.
There. Barbara, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
John, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Bennett, yes. All right.
All
Time
right,
parking.
I'll get them ordered.
Perfect. Thanks, Pat.
And
You're
then
welcome.
the last thing that I have had as a suggestion is to raise the fine for parking, illegal parking. I think it's
Yeah,
$25
I think,
now. If people are coming up from the city, that's what you pay in a parking garage for a couple of hours. So they may not feel that that's a deterrent. $50 would be a deterrent to anybody to park. You know, I wouldn't want to spend $50 just to park my car for a couple hours.
Mhm. Is that
I
something?
know it's 100 down on West Side for Diana's Bath, so.
Wow.
That's just thinking.
Is that,
And
is
they've
that
got-
something we can vote on in a meeting like this, or is that something we have to change on an ordinance?
Well,
No
My
idea.
understanding is that it is your decision to make.
Sounds good.
why don't we just vote on it to pursue it? And if there are no glitches in our thought process, then we'll go ahead with it. If we run into a wall someplace because of a procedure problem, then we'll adhere to whatever procedure we have to go through.
Sounds good.
All right.
What amount do we want to go with then?
I'd go 50. I think that we can always put it up further, but why don't we try 50
Mhm.
and see if that doesn't sink into
Mhm.
people's heads.
Well, then I will make a motion to increase the fine for illegal parking from $25 to $50.
I will second that.
Okay, moved and seconded. Barbara, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
John, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Bennett, yes. Okay, that's the three things on my list.
Can I just
Barbara,
chime
do you have
in?
any?
This is Emily.
Emily,
Oh,
go ahead,
Just-
Emily.
Just one thing. Hi. So I would just ask that, Barbara, you mentioned you've been talking with Kathleen at the chamber regarding the messaging. That we have a really consistent message, like a literal script that's going out, so that everybody's on the same page. And recommend just being really clear about what the parking options are when people come to town, sort of a plan your visit. I can send you an example of what Ski Touring posted, so that if it is busy up there, here are the other places that you could go. Not that we necessarily maybe want them to go, but to have an option, but to just be really, really clear and make sure that the message gets out too about the increase in the parking fines. So I can be in touch with you on that, if that sounds good to everybody.
That sounds great.
I think that's half the battle, is putting information, correct information. I mean, I've read some of the blurbs that come off of a New Hampshire guide to falls and stuff, and they're not helping us at all. So I think if we can put out something that is accurate and concise, that is half the battle right there.
How about something with carry in and carry out, or leave no trash behind, or something like that to remind people of that procedure?
Well, that should be there, but also the sign that the Conservation Commission is working on ought to emphasize that, carry in, carry out, because we certainly don't appreciate picking up, beer cans and dirty diapers and all the rest of the trash that people leave behind. I don't think that we want to do the trash barrels.
No.
I think that just leads to people emptying out their cars in in those barrels. And then we have animal problem, dogs, bear, raccoons, all getting into the barrels. I mean, I know in Yellowstone, they've got the barrels on a swivel. They're up off the ground and they're on a pivot, kind of like in a boat where you have a beer holder or beverage holder that is on a gimbal that rocks with the boat. I don't think we have to go that far. I think carry in, carry out is not a harsh request for people coming to use the facility. So, yeah, I think the signage should be from the Conservation Commission should be strong on that point of carry in, carry out.
I agree, and I don't believe the Conservation Committee has any intent at all of putting barrels out.
No.
I almost wonder if it would be worth it to put something like they do for the doggy disposal bags, where you put, we'd have to fill it up, of course, but, putting some kind of trash bag roll there so people could have somewhere to or have a means to wrap their trash. But, that's just,
They're just going to leave that at the side of their car and drive
Yeah.
away.
I know.
They do, because people do use the doggy bags and they leave them right underneath where they pick the
That's
doggy bag up.
disgusting. Wow. Okay.
Well, thank you
All right.
all really very, very much. Thank you.
No, thank you for your efforts and time you're putting into this. And we will keep talking.
Yes.
Okay, our next agenda item is Emily Benson. If you'd like to speak.
Yes, so I was just going to, a couple updates regarding emergency management. I'm in the process right now of working with our field rep and the consultant we worked with before on updating of our emergency operations plan. We are going to be 5 years out from when we had done the last one, so it's time to update that. There is some grant funding available, and we do have a new field rep that I'm working with, Courtney Jordan, with the state. So that's underway. I'm also in the process of working with Jay on a grant to hopefully get us some updated air packs for the fire department. That current round of funding, they're sort of wrapping that up. So they're going to see, and when I say they, this is again through the state, looking at what options are going to be available. It is a little complicated. I'm new at some of this grant stuff, but we're going to keep working forward on that. Vaccinations are continuing, as I'm sure everybody is aware of. There are still some possible discussions about some community events being available where the public health, that would be working with a public health network to coordinate something specifically for, maybe the north end of the valley or something like that. So if anyone has specific interest in that, I mean, I do think that there are lots of opportunities that are available. I haven't heard of people not being able to find appointments. The state just announced that there's going to be a special J&J vaccine clinics open this weekend at some 3 of the fixed sites in the state. So that's another opportunity. So again, folks should keep an eye out for that. And I guess that's about it, as I see that there is a separate agenda item regarding the mask discussion.
Emily, on the vaccinations, as far as moving forward, and I don't know if this applies to anything yet, but what is the feeling about showing your vaccination card, and does that violate any kind of privacy or personal rights or anything if we decide to have any events where we want people to show their proof of vaccination?
Well, when you say if we decide, it would be very tricky if the we is the town of Jackson.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do know that there are definitely private events who are doing that. I'm aware of some weddings who are requiring, and that's not specific to this town, but I just say I've heard, in the
Mhm.
broader community. Certainly for, travel, certain airlines apparently are going to be requesting that. And there are some different events that I've heard that are going to be asking. So
Okay,
why when I have worked the different clinics, we've recommended to folks that they put that card in a very safe spot. We have just changed the recommendations from going right out and having it laminated. And a hot tip, Staples will laminate your card for free, but recommend laminating a copy of your card
right.
just in case there is a recommendation that some sort of booster might have to happen. Again, that's not definitive, but
Right.
treat your vaccination card like your passport.
Gotcha.
Although people dump coffee on their passport, so treat
Gotcha.
it even better than that. So,
Okay,
yeah, so that's
thanks.
what I have for now. Yeah, in terms of that, and can certainly continue to send more information that I hear from the New Hampshire Municipal Association. I recommend businesses check their website for guidance. We are listening and kind of waiting to see what the governor is going to decide on the emergency order number 52, the Safer at Home. Right now, businesses still are under those universal guidelines, and they have to, which is, having the masks inside. If that changes, that's up to the businesses. But it sounds like we're getting into the next agenda item, so I'll stop.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, well then let's go right to the discussion of a mask mandate for Jackson. So
Only
my
did-
best
Oh, go ahead.
information, the chamber felt that businesses would endorse mask mandate for now. And I think the New York Times rated Carroll County as a high risk area. So, I mean, there's many reasons for being high risk. And part of it is not wearing masks and not using social distancing and just the general attitude of the population. But anyway, I think we should continue a mask mandate in Jackson.
I would be curious if there are other people on this call who wanted to speak to that.
I'll give you my 2 cents, I guess. I'm in the opinion that Jackson employees and representatives should still continue to mask and recommend and require mask. So a mask mandate for the town of Jackson employees and a recommendation, or I guess a strong recommendation, that people maintain masks and social distancing, but not mandating it. And I know businesses are pretty much mandating it still. So that would leave it up to basically being outside and respecting each other. So I don't know that I'm for a full mask mandate to continue.
Is there more discussion on masks?
I don't see anyone raising their hand or anything, so.
Well, I'll chime in then. I wanted to hear others. Maybe this will spur them on. I do not think that we need to create a mask mandate for some of the reasons that Barbara just mentioned. I think right now, we have the businesses who are adhering to keeping masks on and following those guidelines inside. I certainly advocate for people to model good practices that if they get near people, to have a mask handy and put them up if you can't maintain the social distancing of 6 feet. We are in a rural setting. I think we get into a bit of a mask police kind of scenario if we get into a mask mandate. So I just sort of like to err on the side of folks being respectful and aware of others, and that we won't have to go down that route, because I think it is a difficult thing to try to enforce. That is my thought on that.
And then is there some kind of consistency in language, again, going back to even the Chamber of Commerce that says, you know, be respectful, please wear a mask when you're, you know, the same type of language that says be respectful, and yeah, just reiterate it so we have consistent messaging in the town.
And that's a very good point. To again, however, you know, wherever Jackson is out there online, to definitely have something on the chamber website along those lines, that we hope that people, when they come to town, that will respect each other and, you know, follow best CDC guidelines. And even if things do relax some with, depending on what the governor decides, that it is very important to understand that if businesses do have their own guidelines, they want to make sure that people continue to wear masks, that people respect that. And if there is an issue with that, deal with it on a case-by-case basis. But from what I understand, talking to a couple different folks in town, businesses are going to continue to require, a lot of businesses are going to continue to require masks if folks are coming inside, and probably even within the general vicinity, to keep everybody as safe. Because it is really all about trying to stay open. As much as we all want to get back totally to normal, if we do not adhere to some of the CDC, you know, all the CDC guidelines that are recommended, we're just going to be back in a tough spot again. Thank you.
Thank you, Emily. So I don't know, do we take a formal vote on what we're trying to do, or do you think we're going along the path where businesses will have the choice of whether they require masks or not? And certainly our town employees, we can ask them to use masks when they're anywhere near people.
That's my opinion. I think that would be a good way to follow things. The other thing is we have our town meeting coming up, so that will be a good way to communicate and see how things go, I guess. Linda Terry has her hand raised, would like to comment as well.
Sure.
Thank you. My question to you is, town employees will be required to wear masks when they're in the town offices, but do you have plans to reopen town offices for business? And if so, will people who enter the town offices be required to wear masks? I asked this to get a sense of what your procedures and policies will be going forward, because currently, for purposes of library patrons, we're beginning to allow people inside the library in small numbers. The staff is masked and they sanitize their hands, and we're asking patrons who come in to mask and sanitize their hands. And we just would like to get a sense of what the practices will be in the town.
Well, the town offices are our place of business. So I think that if I understand right, our policy would be that the town employees would mask and anyone entering the premises would mask. John or Barbara, do you feel differently about that?
I don't feel differently. I just kind of curious, at some point, are we going to open up the offices to, I always call it full contact, but, preventive contact, I guess, for in the near future? Any thoughts on
Well,
that?
Appointment hours, let's see, Monday through Thursday, 9 to 1.
Yeah, and they are open for window service anytime. So what we've been doing is keeping it from preventing people from directly coming into the building unless it's absolutely essential. But yeah, we're open for window service. I don't know that we've really talked about full reopening with unlocked doors yet, though.
That's what I was referring to.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it'll come.
Mhm.
I don't want to be in the forefront of opening up because I just don't think it's. I think all town business is being conducted now. I don't think there's anything that is being pushed aside or can't be done. So I'd like to keep going the way we are.
I agree with that. Again, we would regret it if we did anything too quickly. And if all the town's requirements are being met for all the voters and residents, et cetera, then I would just hate to have. Yeah, I think the window services is working well.
Yeah,
Oh.
I think it is. I think I haven't heard anything to the contrary. That the current activity right now is working. To Linda's point, that if if there are people who do not want to mask, it's always making sure that whatever business needs to be done, that can be done, and it is definitely set up, it seems to me, in that way to either be done totally remotely or outside. So just making sure that no one is certainly turned away based on whatever needs they have. So.
Well, then I think we can move ahead the way we've been going.
Sounds
Sounds
good.
like a plan. Yeah.
All right. Oh, my next agenda item is the right-of-way spraying by the New Hampshire Electric Co-op on their transmission lines or underneath them. And Jackson has one little section that goes up to the transfer station. I believe that they're going to treat their right-of-way in that area and perhaps to the one private residence that's also up in that road. I think all of the information about New Hampshire Electric Co-op spraying, excuse me, is on the town website under news. And you can certainly talk to anybody at Co-op will speak with you about it. I don't see that other than the one house up there, it's affecting any private property in Jackson. There it is. Okay, so they have the special permit, number 131. This is the notification. So I don't see, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns about the actual herbicide treatment program, please feel free to contact John at 325-3227, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., Monday through Friday. So anyway, that information will be at the town office. You also would be able to get it by calling Plymouth, where they, that telephone number rings into. So anyway, if there's any questions on spraying or concerns, contact the co-op. It is a co-op. We're all members, all the ratepayers are members of the co-op, so they're pretty good about responding. All right. Oh, our next item is the contract for the tax collector on the research for liens and deeds. This is put forward by Karen. I don't see any reason not to vote to have, I'll get their name in a minute. There it is, Sanders Searches LLC. They have their rates and their payment schedule, so I guess it's pretty straightforward for Karen. And we've dealt with them before. They do a nice job. So I would entertain a motion to re-up this contract.
I will make a motion to re-up the annual contract for the notification of liens and deeds.
I will second.
Moved and seconded. Barbara, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
John, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Bennett, yes. All right, we have the next item is the town meeting. The elections will be in the Whitney inside. The deliberative session will be on Saturday outside. And we have to respect the businesses that are along there and not park in their spaces. We should reserve the spots behind the Whitney for people working and handicap access and not public parking. There'll be plenty of parking at the school, across at the town hall. We can probably work out a double row of parking over by the town hall because there's plenty of space if it's used logically. So I believe that we can accommodate without any hardship to anybody to park around for our town meeting and the election.
Do you think we should send something out on e-news as well? Just to
Oh, yeah.
list the available spots?
I think that's an excellent idea. Again, anytime that we can put out accurate information, I think, it may not hit everybody, but it certainly would reach a lot of people.
Yeah.
And it will put the idea in their minds that, you're not just going to drive up, oh, I'm only going to be here for 10 minutes. No.
Right.
On election day, we'll park and move people through for our town meeting deliberative session, you're going to be there for a couple hours, and we have to respect the parking for the businesses. So I think putting that out on e-news is a great idea.
I can coordinate that with Julie's, but I'm sure they know very well how to state it.
Yes, they've put sticky notes all over my program. So, yes, I think they'll understand. The next item is an extended liquor license from the Thompson House Eatery. They want to expand the area where they serve alcoholic beverages with their outdoor seating with the COVID restrictions. They're trying to be as safe as possible. And I would entertain a motion to approve that request.
I will make a motion to extend the liquor license for the Thompson House Eatery as requested.
We'll second that motion.
Moved and seconded. John, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Barbara, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Bennett, yes.
Oh, you get stuck on everything.
Okay, and then the next is a board appointment for Dave Matusky to stay with the zoning board. I think that's great that he would volunteer to continue with that position.
Glad to hear as well.
Yes.
So let's vote on his appointment.
I will make a motion to approve the board appointment for Dave Metesky to continue on the zoning board.
I will second.
Moved and seconded. Barbara, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
John, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Bennett, yes. Then we had one last request is about to put a Moose Crossing sign up on the Jackson end of Town Hall Road. In person, Beth Avina said there are some new people in the neighborhood that may not be aware that that large dark spot in front of their car at night, it could be a moose. So she thought maybe a Moose Crossing sign would be appropriate. Pat, are you still there? Pat got away. I think that we can go ahead and put that sign up.
More signage for moose, the better. Nobody gets hurt, so,
Well, it hurts.
or hopefully.
It hurts people too. I mean,
Yeah.
they come through your windshield because they're so tall.
Mhm.
So anyway, I think that's a reasonable request. And I don't think we have to vote on it. I think I just have to speak with Pat and have him pursue. Anybody want
Moose
to vote?
can't read though. I don't know how they're gonna know the difference.
The moose, they won't know any difference.
Right.
Yeah,
I won't do any good for that.
All right. I think we can go ahead with a moose sign. And I have another, it's not on our agenda, but it's a discussion of the right of way. Sean Bergeron, I believe, is still with us. Sean, are you there? Oh, you are. Hi.
Okay, I am here if you can hear me.
Hearing you loud and clear.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Good afternoon, Sean.
What's up?
hello.
Mr. Chairman, what would you like from me?
This has been going on for quite a while, and we're trying to straighten out the house that's in the right of way and the property across the road that needs to give up, I believe, a small triangle of property to accommodate the right of way. And I believe that my last information is that you have both parties in tow.
We do. We have both parties in agreement, Mr. Chairman, and I think hopefully you all may have the plans that we've provided. It's relatively simple. The Kuhn property, which is on the lower side of Vista Way, back in 2002, the Jackson Planning Board approved a boundary line adjustment related to that property. And as part of that process, the owner, fortunately, the owner then and the owner today being the same, the owners agreed to provide an easement to the town of Jackson over what is, let's see, it is about 450 square feet of land area. And the easement would specifically allow Vista Way to remain where it is because Vista Way encroaches onto the Kuhn property. The plan was approved by the Jackson Planning Board. It was recorded at the Registry of Deeds, but unfortunately, the easement deed providing that authority to the town of Jackson was never created. So the Kuhns have agreed. Frankly, they were a little bit surprised that this had never gotten taken care of. They've agreed to have that deed drafted. It is presently being drafted by legal counsel, and I will provide that to the town of Jackson for review as soon as I see that. So hopefully we can resolve, close to 2 decades later, we can resolve an issue that started back in 2002 and get that one sort of out of everybody's hair. Then,
Well,
go
I
ahead, Jim.
certainly appreciate your work on this because I did want to get both things taken care of, both sides of the road taken care of at this time. And hopefully, as it goes through, that'll take care of it in perpetuity, that we don't have any other issues there. The road is where it is, and the right of way for the folks that abut the road will be taken care of. So I think it's wonderful that we can get to the end of this.
Okay, well, I appreciate that. And as I say, that'll take care of the encroachment of Vista Way onto the Kuhn property. Now, the next one we have is diagonally across the street, where we have a bit of an interesting situation in that the Helfrich property, a small portion of the Helfrich home actually encroaches onto the town of Jackson right-of-way for Vista Way. And then a little bit further down that same property, Vista Way encroaches onto the Helfrich real estate. So we have an encroachment by the town onto the Helfrich's property and encroachment by the Helfrich's onto the town's property. And then what we've configured there is basically a one-to-one swap where, and I think this is going to, unless the town would be opposed to this, I think it would be a one-to-one, truly a real estate transfer, not an easement situation. And the reason I say that is because it's easy to grant an easement for a municipality's road to travel over somebody's property. It's not as easy to grant the encroachment of the home being constructed onto the Jackson right of way. So I think we should just do a one-to-one, $1 kind of real estate transfer here, and that'll clean up both of those little issues.
All right, I'm going to want to check with Peter Malia to make sure that we're authorized to do such a swap. And, I want it to go through. I want it to be correct. I don't want it to ever come back and haunt the town. or the property owners. So I just want to have a moment to check with Peter to make sure that we can go ahead with this.
Well, from this end, Mr. Chairman, first of all, I can tell you I have a lot of respect for Mr. Malia. Certainly willing to hear his counsel. And yes, let's make sure that we do this in a way that is going to close this thing in perpetuity. We don't want to come back and have to visit it in a few years.
Excellent. Well, I think
That's
that
good
it's in motion, John.
That's good news. I like the idea of the land swap. I was going to say land grab, but land swap.
Call it a land grab. That will put us in trouble.
Yeah, that sounds very logical.
All right, so Dick, just in summary, I think I see two, you have something to do, that being talking with Mr. Malia. And on this end, I have something to do, that being getting you the draft form of that easement.
Yes, and I do know that we still have the maps.
Okay,
I've seen them, so we don't have to repeat that. Okay, great.
Great.
Thank you for your efforts.
all right, well, thank you for putting up with me this afternoon. Have a good day.
Thanks, John.
All right, now we're into a lovely segment of our program called short-term rentals. I'm so lucky to have Julie Hoyt give me my crib sheet. Okay, so we have, I think these are the applications up for approval. Nunez at High Pastures West. They have a 4-bedroom tax card, no septic on file, 4-bedroom condo, advertising 5 bedrooms, sleeps 10, needs to change it to 4 bedrooms. So I would say that we'll put that one on hold.
Correct.
I think it'll be straightened out. I don't see any reason not to if they just change that wording to 4 bedrooms, and that would still sleep 10.
Mhm.
I just would like the advertising to meet the requirements of the property.
Agreed.
Okay, that's on hold. Then we have Sletta on 65 Main Street. 4-bedroom septic shared, V1 lot 44 is a 2-bedroom tax card, advertising 2 bedrooms, sleep 6, that's correct. And I believe this is okay for approval.
I will make a motion to approve 65 Main Street's application.
I will second.
Moved and seconded. Barbara, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
John, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Bennett, yes. Okay. 292 Switchback Way LLC. It's at 292 Switchback Way.
Mhm.
2-bedroom tax card, no septic or building permit on file, but they're advertising 2 bedrooms, sleeps 5. That would be okay for approval.
I'll make a motion to approve 292 Switchback Way application.
I will second.
Moved and seconded. Barbara, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
John, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Bennett, yes. And we have 93 Hiller Road. This one's on hold. for more information from the owner when they return from vacation. All right, so those are the approvals. Then we have, excuse me. We have a pending Breen, it's 95 Whitney Hill Loop, no permit. We need to make a motion to send a violation notice.
I make a motion to send the first violation notice to Breen based on no permit on file.
And I will second.
Moved and seconded. John, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Barbara,
Aye.
how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Bennett, yes. Then we have White, 551 Black Mountain Road, no permit. We need to make a motion to send a violation notice.
I'll make a motion to send a first violation notice to the Whites on 551 Black Mountain Road.
I will second.
Moved and seconded. Barbara, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
John, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Bennett, yes. Okay, French, 97A Dinsmore Road. No response to the first violation. 30 days was 4/21. Selectmen should make a motion to send a second violation notice.
I will make a motion to send a second violation notice to French on 97A Dinsmore Road.
I will second.
Moved and seconded. Barbara, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
John, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Bennett, yes. And then we'll have 18 Spring Street. They've submitted an application. So that will go to the planning board and will be reviewed 5/13, May 13th. So I think that one will just move through the proper channels.
All right, sounds good.
And we have no complaints of record.
Yay.
Wow. We have, is Kevin Bennett with us today?
No, he wasn't able to make it to today's meeting.
Okay. Well, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 building permits that he's approved. We have, so it's all in the record. V2 lot 10 through 16A egress windows, V1 lot 37B, re-insulate, rewire, new boiler, water heaters. That's at Wentworth. V10 lot 123, new kitchen, new windows. V10 lot 231, new deck, interior finish. V10 lot 6, replace and repair the decking. R31 lot 13, add central air, gas fired efficiency. So there. We have an approved driveway permit. I signed the Pat okayed it. I signed it at the office, so that's, I don't have the address on that, but again, it's available. We have upcoming meetings.
Dick,
Tuesday.
I just wanted to make a comment that, just for an FYI, we have 40 building permits this year, and last year at this time, we had 21. Yikes. Wow.
That is quite a jump. Well,
Kevin's a busy man. Sorry to interrupt. I
Well-
just thought that was interesting.
People got itchy being sequestered, so they're.
A lot of egress windows too.
And egress windows, that's one. Everybody should have them. Okay, well, we're gonna have a town meeting on May 11th. The voting, the location will be at the Whitney inside 7 a.m. to 8 a.m., I'm sorry, 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. Tuesday,
Meeting.
7th. And have we decided what shifts, who's taking? Or we're all supposed to be there?
I'll be there.
I'll be there. I'm coming in
I'll
this year.
be there.
Awesome.
I'll be there.
That could be a song.
John will be serenading us.
Solo, you can't hear me.
Mhm.
All right. You know, far, far away. Then on Saturday, May 15th, we have our town meeting, the deliberative session. And that will be behind the Whitney in a tent outside. We have the school tent, we're getting a tent, and the pavilion. So between all of those, we should have cover for everyone that shows up. I certainly hope so. Again, the parking, we'll put a word out on the internet on
E-news.
E-news.
Yes.
that we need to respect the parking of the businesses, but there should be plenty of other parking in the area. And then, Tuesday, May 25th at 3:30 p.m. via Zoom, you will have another selectmen's meeting.
Oh, that's right. Wow.
I'll be there, don't worry. It's been a good place to hang out.
Yes.
Okay. Any other public comments or comments from the public?
I don't see any hands raised.
Okay. John and Barbara, you have anything?
Actually, if I may say something,
That's Will Reisig.
seeing as this is Dick's last selectman meeting as one of the selectmen, I would just like to thank him for his many years of service and his dedication to the town of Jackson. I'm sure I can speak for all of us when I say that we very much appreciate everything you've done for the town.
Will, thank you
I
very much.
agree with you. Well, I think that's a little premature, though. I don't think we got rid of Dick yet.
Well, I know he's already stated that he'll be hanging around some, but this would be the last meeting he'll be here as a selectman. So I just wanted to show a little respect for that.
I appreciate it.
Yes, thank you very much.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you all for making it run as smoothly as it does.
Yes,
I don't do that. It takes all of us to make it work.
very true.
And Will, it takes him and
Julie's and Hank's and people like that.
all of it. Okay,
I will make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I will second.
moved and seconded. Barbara, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
John, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Bennett, yes.
Yay!
All right.
See you at the watering hole.
Uh,
Bye-bye.